football coverage. Powered by Davis Law Firm.
Getting selected in the NFL draft is a dream come true for so many football players. Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is now living that goal as the second overall selection in the 2023 NFL draft. He is one of 259 players who heard their names called during the three-day draft process. It started with QB Bryce Young, who was selected first overall by Carolina, and ended with Deshaun Johnson at pick 259, who's now a member of the L.A. Rams. Some of the coolest video from draft night is the phone call involving teams and the players they selected. Here's that phone call with the Texans and Stroud.
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling a lot better now.
Welcome to Texas, bud.
Yes, sir.
Excited to have you.
Thank you.
No, I look forward to working with you. D'Amico's going to get on the phone here in a little bit. He'll visit with you here, and then we'll catch up with you after. But congratulations, you've earned this opportunity, and we can't wait to get started with you.
Thank you for the opportunity, man. I promise I won't let you down. I'm going to work my tail off.
You got it.
CJ, what's up, my man?
What's up, Coach?
Hey, man. Hey, we're all fired up, man. Excited, right? Can't wait to get to work with you, man. You ready to go? Ready to compete?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just like we talked about, man. That's all I'm about. Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
You know it, man. Let's go do work.
With two of the top three picks in the NFL draft in Stroud and Will Anderson Jr., the Texans have a whopping $105,910,000 total rookie allocation for signing their 2023 draft class per multiple reports. They're the only team to top $100 million. Denver beat Phoenix 97-87 last night in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, taking a 2-0 series lead. Nuggets big man Nikola Jokic led the way with 39 points and 16 rebounds. The Suns were up 73-70 after 3. Then they got outscored 27-14 in the fourth quarter, shooting 7 for 25 in that final frame. Suns point guard Chris Paul left the game in the third quarter with groin tightness, and he did not return. He certainly makes that team run. Here's Devin Booker on CP3 after the game.
It's an unfortunate event, obviously. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't really got to talk to him, but all we can do is hope he, has a speedy recovery. We're going to be behind him. We're going to hold it down while he's out, or if he's out, and we'll just take it from there.
Paul has some time to rest up because Game 3 is Friday night at 9 in Phoenix. The 7th-seeded Los Angeles Lakers will play the 6th-seed Golden State Warriors tonight in Game 1 of that Western Conference semifinal. Golden State upset number 3 Sacramento in the first round, needing 7 games to advance. The Lakers needed 6 games to beat number 2 Memphis, and here we are. LeBron James says the Warriors remind him of the Spurs when they were winning NBA titles in 2007 and 2014, beating James in both of those years to win it all.
You got to be super duper locked in. You can't make a mistake. You just can't. You can't make a mistake. They make you pay. It's literally that simple. Some teams I've played in my career that's had that notion on you, and they're one of them. They're right there at the top. Along with some of those great San Antonio Spurs teams, where if you make a mistake, they make you pay, and it's that simple. So we have to be locked in.
James will never forget those great Spurs teams, right? Game 1 between the Lakers and Warriors is tonight at 9. And former New Braunfels pitcher Bryce Miller will make his MLB debut tonight for the Seattle Mariners. He was called up today and will face the Oakland A's tonight at the Oakland Coliseum. And the Mariners say this is not a one-game call-up either, so we wish him the very best.
I love that the Spurs live rent-free in LeBron's head.
Yeah.
I think we all do. Thanks, Larry. Our KSAT Q&A is up next. The month of May is already here, which means the end of school is right around the corner, and so is the summer sun. Today we have Dr. Robert Gilson with UT Health San Antonio joining us to talk about all the things we need to know when it comes to skin cancer, especially warning signs and some myths that are out there. Dr. Gilson, thanks for being here. I want to start with those warning signs. What are the things that we all need to pay attention to?
Okay, so first of all, 1 in 5 of us does get skin cancer, so it is fairly common. So people do need to look at their skin and be aware of what to watch for. The 3 most common ones are basal cell skin cancer, and I tell people on that one, if you have an area that crusts, bleeds, and just doesn't heal, that's the sign for that. For squamous cell, those are often red, crusted bumps that occur on the face, back of the ears, sun-exposed areas, back of the hands, especially if you've been outdoors, like our cowboys, our ranchers, golfers, tennis players, lifeguards, etc. Now, melanoma is the one that can kill you, and so we want people to recognize that. 1 in 30 of us will now get that. It's on an epidemic. We like to detect it early before it spreads because it can be lethal. And indeed, it's the leading cause of death in young people from 20 to 29. So the things we look at there are asymmetry, so the ABCDs, asymmetry, one side doesn't look like the other. B, borders irregular or notched, not evenly round. C, color, so black, white, red, brown. Patriotic moles are not good if they're different colors. Diameter, usually over the size of a pencil eraser or evolving. So if someone tells me it's changing, that's always a red flag. So those are the things to watch out for.
And at what point would you see something that you want to go see a doctor like yourself and get this checked out?
I encourage everyone who's at risk to get a skin exam. If you've ever had a precancer or skin cancer, you do need to get seen yearly. If you're immunocompromised or on immune medicines as a transplant patient or autoimmune disease, same thing. But other risk factors, if you have fair skin, maybe redhead, blonde, you don't really tan, you just freckle or you burn easily, you've been out in the sun a lot, those are other things that put you at risk. Certainly, if you've been in a tanning booth, you're at risk for all 3 types of skin cancer. And if you have a family history, someone who's had melanoma or other skin cancer, I would encourage you to look at your skin. And if something just doesn't seem right, you see a mole or your wife sees a mole that just stands out, we call it the ugly duckling sign. Do you see a board-certified dermatologist? We'll be happy to do the screening and hopefully reassure you it's okay, or if not, detect things when they're early and curable.
Let's talk about some of the myths that we want to bust here this evening. One of them being that people with darker skin tone don't get skin cancer.
Yeah, that is a myth. So we do see skin cancer in skin of color. San Antonio is a diverse population. I do see it in skin of color. African Americans get melanoma in unusual sites like the nails, the palms and soles, so we always look there. And Hispanics get a lot of pigmented basal cells as well. And so it can occur in all types of skin of color as well.
Now, another myth that only older people get skin cancer.
Yeah, that is another myth. So we see skin cancer younger and younger age, especially melanoma. It's the leading cause of cancer death in our youth. And so don't think that just because you're young, you're immune. We're certainly seeing that. And if you have a doubt, get it examined. If we detect it early, it can be cured. So no one is immune from skin cancer. Of course, it does increase as we do get older, but it can occur in the young as well.
So here's maybe the most popular myth out there, that you don't need to wear sunscreen when it's in the winter time or when it's cloudy outside.
Yes, that is another myth. So always wear sunscreen. Cloudy days, the ultraviolet rays still get through the clouds. And so you can still burn when you're out there. So we encourage sunscreens. I like an SPF of 30 or greater, broad spectrum UVA and UVB. Don't forget to reapply after every 2 hours because it isn't waterproof. They only say it's water resistant. Wide brim hats are good. And I like the sun protective clothing because you don't have to reapply it and it doesn't expire like sunscreens.
Protection is key.
Yeah. How about, before we go, treatment for skin cancer? What does that look like?
Yeah, so for most skin cancers, we can do a simple excision with a margin and leave a small scar in place of the skin cancer. For higher risk skin cancers, we have Mohs surgery who can do that with a narrow margin, like if it's on the nose or the ear, so that's tissue sparing. Occasionally, we'll do topical chemotherapy or what I call a scrape and burn or electrodesiccation curettage for superficials. And then for non-surgical candidates, there are some chemotherapies as well as radiation. But far and away, usually it's an excision that will remove and cure a skin cancer.
Dr. Robert Gilson, UT Health San Antonio, thanks for being here. Things we all need to remember, especially in the coming months. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, doctor. We'll be right back. Right now, there is a Texas Senate bill that would provide more freedom for Texans in life and death. Aquamation, or alkaline hydrolysis. If you aren't familiar with the service, well, it is because it's not available here in Texas.
Our Jonathan Cotto walks us through this new possible option and speaks to a woman who had to go out of her way to take care of her husband's disposition.
Sandy Geroliman recently lost her husband. And right in the thick of the most difficult time for her and her family, she had little time to decide what steps to take next.
The thought of a flame cremation upset me and brought me to tears, knowing that my husband didn't want to be buried.
Overwhelmed by grief, Jervalaman was able to find a moment of clarity.
When I got my calm and peace about me, I went back to the research that I had started.
Research that led Jervalaman to a little-known method of cremation.
I found water cremation, and I just immediately clicked on it, because when I say clicked, I mean I went, oh, what's this? Because my husband's a nerd. So I thought, okay, let's see what's going on here.
Alkaline hydrolysis, or aquamation, is a form of cremation that, rather than using heat and direct flame, uses 95% water and 5% sodium hydroxide, an alkaline solution, to reduce the human body to bone fragments, which are then pulverized. A process that Sandy and her children felt was the best way to move forward.
It's a gentle acceleration of decomposition, and I think that's pretty cool. It's a natural process using chemicals that we normally use anyway. So it wasn't frightening. It wasn't scary.
Sandy found the right service, but there was a problem.
Found out that I wasn't able to do that in the state of Texas, that they would have to help me facilitate it through another state.
And that's because water cremations are legal in 28 other states, but illegal here in Texas. Currently, Senate Bill 105 aims to legalize this service. This would add alkaline hydrolysis to the state's definition of a cremation. Founder and CEO of Cremation.Green, Eric Newhouse, says this isn't the first time a bill has been proposed.
So this is the fourth time that a bill like this has been proposed within the Texas Capitol. Every time there are select religious groups that are in opposition to the bill, and so far that's been enough to disable it.
We reached out to the Catholic Diocese of San Antonio to learn their position on water cremations. They say the Texas Catholic Conferences of Bishops opposes the legalization of water cremation. Jennifer Allman, executive director of the Texas Catholic Conference of Bishops, says we will continue to oppose these bills. Alkaline hydrolysis fails to treat the body with dignity and respect.
The traditional way of being laid to rest usually takes place in settings like this. Cemeteries where your body would essentially be buried 6 feet under. And cremations, as we know them to be, have always been an alternative. But Eric Newhouse says he wants Texans to have another option. An option he says is more environmentally friendly and less expensive.
We're about 40 to 50% lower than an average cremation in the United States.
He says water cremations don't require the extreme heat and have zero emissions, so no carbon goes into the atmosphere.
The way I describe it is it costs roughly $25 to $40 of natural gas or propane as the fuel needed for one cremation. That's roughly the amount of natural gas one single-family household uses an entire month.
Sandy says she traveled to St. Louis, Missouri, where water cremations are legal.
But it would have been much easier if I would have been able to take care of my husband here in Texas, where my family was.
For now, the future of Senate Bill 105 remains uncertain. Jonathan Cotto, KSAT12 News.
Let's turn to the forecast now. Take a look outside with live cam. Fewer clouds in this view, but earlier today, Adam, it looked like it just wanted to rain.
Yeah, it did look like it wanted to rain, but we really didn't see much fall from the clouds. I do think that'll change a bit in the days ahead. As for this evening, quiet. Right now we're at 79. By midnight, we're down to 68, and tomorrow morning we start the day at 64 degrees. We're going to talk about those storm chances and our potential for severe weather in just a bit.
The man accused of beating Faustino Rodriguez to death in 2019 has had his charges dropped. Chance Stelzig was expected to go to trial next week, but the DA's office dismissed the case for further investigation. We've emailed the DA's office for an update, but so far we haven't heard back.
A fourth person now in custody in connection to a deadly shooting last September. San Antonio police say Corey Salas was with a group of people accused of walking into a West Side apartment complex and confronting the people inside. Each of them are facing several charges, including murder.
President Biden plans to send 1,500 active duty troops to the southern border ahead of the end of Title 42. The COVID-era policy allowed authorities to turn away certain migrants at the border. White House officials say the troops will be there for 90 days.
Today is the last day of early voting here in Bexar County. You still got some time tonight, though. The polls are open until 8 p.m. Election Day is on Saturday, May 6th. For more information on what you'll see on the ballot come Election Day, go to KSAT12. And that's your 60-second recap.
Still pretty comfortable out there this morning for a walk, but the humidity seems like it is definitely creeping back in.
Oh, yes.
It is. And we had a good break from it, Friday and especially on into the weekend, Friday evening that was, and through the weekend. But it's back, and it's that time of year where we typically don't see big breaks from the humidity going forward. It's here to stay, and that's going to mean some low clouds, gray mornings, even with some patchy fog, and then storm chances starting on Thursday. We have a few storms out there right now. Take a look at the visible satellite imagery. Decent amount of cloud cover throughout the day made it look like it could rain or storm at any moment, but we really didn't have much pop up. Off to the west in West Texas and northern Mexico. That's where these afternoon storms have flared up. And some of the blow-off clouds are passing over Del Rio and Brackettville at this time. Here we go. You see the storm flare up and then the high-level blow-off clouds all the way to Uvalde and moving into Medina County as well. Those storms are going to have a hard time making it to the Rio Grande. I really don't think they'll be able to make it eastward into our area. You look at the big picture and the activities all in West Texas and even parts of New Mexico. Some isolated severe storms have popped up. This is very isolated in nature, and again, that's not headed our way. But we do see better chances in the days ahead as we build up more instability, and we have some upper level impulses move our way. It's this upper level disturbance over Northern California that's going to be giving us this southwesterly flow aloft. So the wind coming off the Pacific, it will have some upper level Pacific moisture with it, but also these little impulses of energy scattered about within that flow that will be enough to make some of those storms and develop them in the afternoon and evening hours for the most part. Now, it's a situation where we see them develop either near the Rio Grande or in Mexico and then just track their progress eastward. That's the kind of pattern we're in. So it's not the situation where we can tell you exactly where they're going to be every afternoon. It's not like a defined line or anything like that. It's a different situation. So 40% chance on Thursday, then daily 30% chances Friday through the weekend and even into the early part of next week. And as usual this time of year, anything that develops could quickly become strong to severe, with straight line winds and even large hail being the primary risks. 67 this morning, that was our low. That's 5 degrees above average. And then our high was 80, and that's 3 degrees below average. The record high, 99, set back in 1964. Currently, we're at 79. There's that dew point of 64, so we're feeling a bit of humidity back in the air, but it's not at the oppressive levels yet. I think by this weekend, we'll have the dew points back to 70 degrees, and that's when you can really feel that thick mugginess in the air. But let's talk temperatures. 84 Carrizo Springs, Del Rio 81, Gonzales at 80, 79 officially at the airport in town, 75 Bernie, and 77 in Bulverde. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day in the 60s, 64 in San Antonio. You get closer to 60 in the hill country. Comfort, even Pipe Creek and Bandera, about 60 degrees. Meanwhile, Divine, 64 to start your day. By the afternoon, we make it into the 80s. 84 here in town, 85 Rio Medina, Floresville, 84 in Canyon Lake, the high of 84. And we will have that gray start to the day, but I think by the noon hour we'll have a lot of sunshine, and then into the afternoon, a mixture of sun and clouds, some of those patchy fair weather cumulus clouds developing. Temperatures are going to be warming up. We talked about those rain chances rising a little bit, but temperatures are going to be on the rise as well. By Friday, we're at 87, and then this weekend, I do think it's back to 90 degrees. We'll hit 90 or be very close to it both Friday and Saturday. And as I said earlier, it's a humid 90. Get ready.
Yay.
We can't hide from summer forever.
Nope.
All right, thanks, Adam. The Buzz is up next. In the Buzz today, forget the limo. A teen in Washington State went to prom in his dream vehicle, a tank. This is how Sherman Bynum made his entrance to his high school prom in the turret of a World War II tank.
Sherman, no relation to the tank, used a GoFundMe page to raise the $1,000 needed to rent that tank from a collector who of course did the driving. His prom date says the tank didn't tank their relationship. But if he shows up like that and asks her for a wedding,
yeah, maybe
that might tank that.
Maybe then.
All right, Mattel has introduced a new Barbie doll that honors an Asian American trailblazer. Anna May Wong is considered the first Chinese American Hollywood movie star. She founded her own production company in 1924 after tiring of being typecast in stereotypical roles.
She was just 19 years old at the time. This doll is modeled after Wong, including the red dragon design.
Beautiful.
I know, the dress is beautiful. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow afternoon, Eagle Pass 86, Cotulla 89, San Antonio, we're looking around 84 degrees. Now you get to Hondo 85, but no big changes across our area. Elmendorf 84. Notice as we get into the weekend, we're back to 90, right around 90 degrees for high temperatures with a bit higher humidity as well. And that's above our average high of 83. Storm chances back in the forecast daily on Thursday. It's a situation where they develop near the Rio Grande and drift eastward. We'll keep you updated.
All right, thanks, Adam. And thank you for watching the news at 6.
Hope to see you back here for the Night Beat tonight at 10. Have a good evening.